This short presentation is designed to tell you a little bit about the modules for the E3 Safety Management and Compliance System. We're not going to cover all of the modules in this presentation, but we are going to have a look at the outage planning and also some of the mobility features that are available within E3 for safety work permits and lockout tagout in this case. We're going to start very quickly with the outage planning. The outage planning module is a module that allows you to set up permits, to set up proposed isolations for a particular outage and manage those in an offline area of the system. Once you're ready, the system will check to see if there's any conflicts, anything that is not set up correctly, and that will commit that plan then to the live system. And again, check if there's any conflicts with any live permits that you've got currently on site. Rather than showing it in screenshots here, we have prepared a short video to just walk you through some of the key features of the outage module. I'm going to start by showing you that you can have as many outages as you want. You're not limited to a single outage. It's very easy to create a new outage. Simply press the plus button as shown here, and you tell it what the name of that outage is. You can copy between outages. You can save outages as templates and reuse them. Once you've done that, you can allocate the lockout boxes that you wish to use for your outage, and that they're then reserved for the process. If we then want to display that outage and work on it at any particular time, you'll see the is visible section on the left. That turns it on inside the software, and you will see in the main menu that there is an outage section which you can then work on. The outage module, you can prepare your permits, your isolations in exactly the same way as you would normally do in the live system, but the process, the procedure will not be the complete procedure. It will not let you issue live permits. So here we're just simply selecting the equipment, filling out the permit, scope of work, and then we'll go in and we'll select some of the isolation points so that we can put those in place and allocate them to a lockbox. And again, you'll see it's the same process as you'll have seen in presentations on the actual permit to work system. So in here, go in, choose a couple of mechanical isolation points, an electrical isolation point for the pump, and the safe conditions. We can then go in and allocate those to a particular key safe and give that key safe a name if we wish, whether it's a particular pump, whether it's a fuel pump, whether it's something that we want to put in. We can then go in, we can even allocate which keys we are going to use when we put it in the live system. But you'll see that the status of these is allocated. It's not live, it's not approved. It's simply set up in advance so that when you put it into the live system, it still needs to go through the approval. The actual physical isolation still will need to be applied, and you will need to secure the lock boxes as well. The other thing that, as I said, was in the system, if we wanted to go in and see if these particular things had any conflicts, then there is also a conflict report or an error report in the system that goes through and tells you anything that is in conflict with your safety rules or with other documents. That could be you've chose isolations, the same isolation in two different documents, but one you wish to lock open and one you wish to lock closed. Simple things like that, the system will come up and tell you. See there, we're now clear, we've got no conflicts. So we can go in and we can select to commit either one of these work permits into the live system, or we could go in and select a group of them and commit the entire group over to the system. It'll give you a little report of what it's actually created, and then if we go into the live system, you'll see that we've now got X number of created safety documents, which is that work plan that we've set up. Now again, we can use that again and again if we want to. It's a template for once it's set up. The idea is that you can go in, update it for any new outages that are coming along and reuse it. So you set it up one time and you don't need to keep reinventing. So that's an overview of the outage module. We're going to go back now and we're going to have a look at some of the mobility options. The first one that we're going to have a look at is from the permit to work. Now you'll have seen the permit to work is very flexible. The layouts of the permits or anything you want. We're going to use one of the examples from another client and show you this running on a tablet PC to give you an idea of online capability, online mobility. So here again is a picture of a ruggedized tablet that can be used out on the site, and you can see that it's running the E3 system. Because the screen representations are the same as the permits on paper, it works very well as an electronic permit to system in the field on a tablet that is orientated like so. Rather than showing you pictures again, we're going to go into this section here and we're going to show you a short video. I'll hand you across to my colleague who's going to show you this running on a tablet. You'll see there that it is wireless, other than we have a device plugged into this to be able to read the ID cards. Certain tablets, certain specialist devices may have biometric scanners, etc. built into them, but for this particular example we're using ID cards, using RFID tag readers to be able to do authorization. Now I'll hand you across and let this be explained.
Okay, today I'm going to demonstrate filling in a work permit with a tablet. You can see here we've got a small tablet, and it actually resizes to meet the dimensions of the tablet. I've pre-filled in some of the information. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate filling in a few things. You can use the pen or you can use your finger. I'll use the pen here. I'm going to say no, NA, and no to a couple of checkboxes. You can see how easy that is. If you need to add more to the area up here, you can use the built-in keyboard. So I'm going to do repair pump. So you can see here I've added that as well. I've done a couple selections up there as well. When we're ready to advance the document, you'll click on the button to advance the document. It will go through its mandatory checks here, one of them being an activation query, so I'm going to say a safe environment. We've got a little typo there, so I'll clean that up. There we go, just to show you how it could be used. I'll click OK. Now we'll go ahead and issue the permit. It will take me to a signature area here at the very bottom. You'll see, I'll scroll down. It is requiring my name to be put in here. I'll go ahead and use my RFID badge reader. You can see it filled in my name and date from my badge. And then I will also be the issuer, so I'll put my name there. And you can see here I've also added my name. So now I'll go ahead and issue the permit. And we're missing one more field. I need to actually sign on to the permit. So I will capture that as well. There it is, just missed the scan there. Okay, next I'll hit issue. And you can see it's going to issue here. It's actually going to print out on the form. So I'll use current printer configuration. It will now print it. We will pause the demonstration for now and we'll go get the printer and we'll come right back.
One of the things to point out here is this was a demonstration, and for speed purposes we have the same approver as issuer. Now this probably wouldn't happen in a real life scenario, and this would be controlled by the authorizations inside the software, so that wouldn't be possible based on safety rules. We'll go back to my colleague now, who has now printed out the permit and is going to show you how barcoding can be used to quickly retrieve the information from the system.
Alright, next one I'm going to show you is utilizing the barcode. You can see that the permit that I just printed out actually has a barcode embedded on the back. What I'm going to do is now use the tool to find that barcode. So I'm going to use this barcode scanner. I'm going to try to find the permit here, and you can see here it has found it there on screen. I can just double tap, or I can use my finger, and it will then open the permit for us. Just does take a second, but that's how the barcode on the permit could be used to find the document.
You will note as well that once the document's been found, that all of the process steps are also displayed at the top of the screen. So it's a simple matter of your contractor, your employee comes back to the permit office, scans the permit, comes up on screen, and then you can surrender that, ready for reissue. It can be cancelled out, or any other part of your process, again, will just be displayed at the top and be controlled through the rights and permissions. The next part that we're going to have a look at, this is the online mode that we've just looked at here. We're going to have a look at the offline capability. Now again, there are many areas where you could use offline confirmations or offline apps. This is everything from confirming a permit start, that a work check's being done. You'll see that we have them for risk assessment, so you can actually identify hazards out in the field. You can use QR codes at check-in points so that you can actually confirm that people have been to a physical location and checked in before they've actually carried out one of these mobile applications. So again, tracking and confirming that people have been out on the site. The one I'm going to show you in this small presentation is an isolation application and an isolation verification using a mobile app. Now again, you'll be aware that the NiSoft software prints out the isolation tags and it manages the full isolation process. Again, we can use barcodes on these to be able to do verifications. Similar to the presentation you've just seen with the barcode for searching, we can use those on the mobile apps as well. So let me click on the mobile app button here. First part of the process is just going through and setting up your permit, specifying the isolations that you want to carry out, and you get to the point where you want to apply those, but instead of printing them out onto a form that you take out to the site, you send those or you sync those with your mobile app. This then is acting as an electronic isolation list. You can then take that application out to the site along with your printed isolation tags and apply them to each of the points using the mobile app to identify where those points are and what the details are. Now, applying the actual isolations, you can put any information on that isolation list that you want. You can even have it so you can click on it and drill down and see more detail. As I said before, you can also put barcodes on these. One of the options that you'll have seen on the main menu of this app was to be able to scan barcodes. So you can apply, put the various lockout on there, so your chain, your lock, whatever, apply the tag and then scan it and say confirm that this has been put in place. Once they've applied all of the isolations for this particular isolation set, they then give the mobile device to the area authority, the supervisor, etc., to be able to do the verification. Now the verification, the area authority, the supervisor would log in using their authorization levels, their authority. Not anybody can obviously do a verification. This is controlled. They would then take the device out, scan the first tag, and it would come up with the details of this should be a particular isolation point and it should be in the following safe condition. Can you confirm that this is the case, and do you agree with this particular thing? If you say yes to that, you'll see here that what the system does, it puts a little verification cross against that particular isolation. It's also recorded electronically who was logged in when this was done and the actual date and time that it was scanned. So you're building up a very strong audit trail there also for when the particular isolations were done and who did them. Once all of the isolations have been confirmed, you can then go back to the main E3 system, synchronize this information back up with the main permit, which will have been locked up to this point, and it will now allow it to be carried on in the process. So basically what you will find now, it will unlock the button that will allow you to do the final approval ready for issue. So again, it's controlling very tightly and performing an audit trail as part of a process that would normally be bits of paper. Saves you double typing, putting information on an isolation list and then having to come back to a system and type it in. There is no retyping. There is no part of this where you could actually make a mistake in the typing, and it also controls the process. I hope this has been informative for you and gives you a little bit of an idea of some of the things that we can actually do with the mobile applications, and also gives you an overview of the outage plan. If you have any more questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.